Okay, Plymouth Township Board of Trustees. All right, regular meeting of Tuesday, May 14th, 2024 will come to order. Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Stewart.
Walking in.
He's walking in right now, so.
Trustee Monahan. Trustee Kermy.
Here.
Trustee Buckley.
Here.
Clerk Vorba here. Treasurer Dorshevitz.
Here.
Supervisor Heising.
Here. Okay, we have a quorum?
Yes.
Correct?
Correct,
Okay.
we have a quorum.
Pledge of Allegiance tonight. How about Attorney John Clark, our labor attorney? You'll have the honor. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Please note that Trustee Stewart is here.
has entered the room. Okay,
Yes.
so he is here. Okay, approval of the agenda. The only change I have is cosmetic. We are combining items F and H because we have one resolution that is addressing both National Police Week and National Peace Officers Day.
Mr. Supervisor.
Mr. Clerk.
I move for the approval of the agenda as amended.
All right.
For Tuesday, May 14th, 2024.
Okay, motion's made by Clerk Vorba. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Buckley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. It is currently 6:02 PM, and I will make a motion that the closed session be called for the purpose of discussion of current fire contract negotiations with Township Labor Attorney in accordance with the Michigan Open Meetings Act, Section MCL 15.2688C. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Clerk Vorba. Probably
Yes.
I should take the roll call.
Roll, yes. Supervisor Heising.
Yes.
Treasurer Dorshevitz.
Yes.
Clerk Vorba, yes. Trustee Buckley.
Yes.
Trustee Kermy.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
All in favor.
Okay, very good. So we are going to go into closed session right now. If you're watching at home, we will be, when we come back. the
Clerk
meeting-
Borb, excuse me, Clerk Borb, you did mark my attendance for
Yes,
6
we
PM
did.
tonight.
We did,
Yeah.
yes. And so, pardon the interruption, but anyway, we'll be going into closed session. I believe the cameras will continue to run during that time. We will edit that later for brevity's sake, and we'll be back when we're ready, but hopefully before 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Do you intend to start the meeting
Yes.
before 7?
Yes, we do.
So the regular meeting will start before 7.
Regular meeting has started already.
How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, I saw that. I think so. Why are the shades on? Was there some reason for the shades being down? Is there some reason for the shades being down?
Oh, there was a lot of,
This,
Glare.
see the person Joseph put it down.
oh,
He said you couldn't see the reflecting on the person. Too much.
got it.
All right, if you're ready to start, we'll let her come in.
It's kind of awkward.
Is Valerie Gunn here?
I don't think so. Okay. Two. Everything's all here. Okay. Okay, we're returning to open session at 6:52. I move that the board return to open session. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Clerk Vorba. Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Supervisor Heisey.
Here.
Treasurer Dorchevitz.
Or yes.
Clerk-
Yes.
Yeah. Clerk Forba, yes. Trustee Buckley.
Yes.
Trustee Kirby.
Yes.
Trustee Monahan.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Back in session.
So we have a very special tribute tonight. We have with us our very special 911 hero tribute. Chief Nightel is not here, but we have Deputy Chief Dan Kudra with us. My mic is a little hot tonight too, Jerry, I'm just saying. The boys in the back can handle that. So, are you guys ready? All right, so I'm going to read the script here a little bit. So, one of our public service officers, one of our dispatchers named Stephanie Smith, took a call from a child caller. The caller was a 7-year-old and was able to dial 911 and tell PSA Smith the location and address of the problem. The child was also able to explain what was happening inside the apartment. The child was calling for her mother, who was having trouble breathing. While on the phone with Stephanie, the child followed all of her instructions and at times even put the phone near her mother, who was able to answer some questions that were being asked. Once the officers arrived, the child was instructed to go to the door and use the buzzer to let them in. The first officer on scene was Tyler Cannon, and he immediately assured the child that they did a great job, and the fire department was right behind to help Mom. So, Assistant Chief Kudra, do you have any other remarks or anything else you'd like to say at this time?
Yeah, just, we at the police department could not be more proud of Gervais and the job that you did that day. You did a phenomenal job calling 911 for your mom who needed your help. You did a great job of answering all of our dispatchers' questions and going even beyond that and letting our staff and the fire department staff in to help your mom. Everything you did was perfect. I don't know who taught you that, if it was at school or your mom, but they did a great job. Dad, all right.
All right,
We'll
Dad.
give credit where credit's due. So Dad did a great job. So in addition to being recognized here today, Gervais and her family are going to be recognized at the Michigan Public Safety Telecommunications Conference in Muskegon on May 20th. And she just did a phenomenal job, and we at the police department could not be any more proud of Gervais. So why don't you come on up here, Gervais? We have a couple things for you.
Then Mom and Dad, I'll give this to you. This is, as was donated by the Chicago to the Perfect for anyone to give something. Absolutely.
So Gervais was given a civilian citation. So Gervais was put in for an award through our police department awards program by some of our staff here. And the awards committee voted on it, and we awarded Gervais with the civilian citation from the police department as well.
So Gervais, we are hiring police officers, firefighters, and dispatchers. So please fill out an application on your way out. We're always hiring.
It takes us a while to get around to them. So.
Oh, we're going to pause for some pictures.
Yes, okay, that's okay. Let's do that.
There you go. Good job. Yeah, sure. Come on in.
Thank you.
All righty. All right, thank you, folks. Okay, well, we're not done with proclamations here tonight, so our next one is a combination of items F and H. We are recognizing National Police Week across the nation, as well as National Peace Officers Day. And we are combining these in one proclamation. Tomorrow, here at Township Hall, we will be putting our flag at half-staff in honor of National Peace Officers Day in recognition of those police officers who have been killed on the line of duty across our country over the last year. And those numbers unfortunately continue to go up. So I would like, again, Chief Kudra to come forward and receive the recognition for National Police Week and National Peace Officers Day. This is what the proclamation looks like. I will not read it. So, Chief, if you want to hang that up in the station house, we'd sure appreciate it.
Will do. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. Not to be outdone, the firefighters have National EMS Week. This is another national observance of our fine, talented emergency medical service providers, our paramedics here at the township. All of our firefighters are paramedic trained, and they provide outstanding service for us. So, Chief, if you could accept this on our behalf, and please hang that up in the station, we'd certainly appreciate it. Thank you. All righty, so now we have approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Supervisor.
Mr. Clerk.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda for Tuesday, May 14th, 2024.
All right, motions by Clerk Vorba, seconded by Trustee Monahan. All those in favor, we do have to do a roll call on
Do
this.
roll
'cause
call,
have
yes, we do.
several
Yes.
Resolutions.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Trustee Monahan.
Yes.
Trustee Kermy.
Yes.
Trustee Buckley.
Yes.
Clerk Vorba, yes. Treasurer Dorchevitz.
Yes.
Supervisor Heisler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Okay, public comment, limited to 3 minutes. Mr. Dorchevitz will put the clock up on the board there. Anybody wants to say something? Come on down.
The light is on. My name is Dale Bernhardt. I, along with our residents, have learned a tremendous amount in the last year and a half, what goes on here and how it is done. We have learned Northville Downs was pursued by Mr. Heisey and Mr. Heitman well before it was presented to the Planning Commission, and that Northville Downs had huge aspirations to make it a casino. Mr. Heisey instructed the Planning Commission to approve as a planned unit development and to leave the community benefit agreement to him. Now Northville Downs is suing our township for $10 million plus, and their lead attorney has added 2 additional attorneys. Unfortunately, we have learned nothing about where the suit stands, even though we have asked. Does our insurance have limits? Do we have deductibles? Also now known is that if you oppose Mr. Heisey's projects, he will slander and lie about you on social media. This is how Mr. Heisey deals with those with differing points of view. In the summer of 2023, the Planning Commission rejected the Meyer Store project by a 6-to-1 vote. but Mr. Heisey offered his services to Meyer to overturn their decision and would rather have our township sued than to lose credibility with the Meyer family. Meyer is now building a 159,000 square foot superstore, all steel and cement and a gas station, no green or charm included. Trees and green space is not important to Mr. Heisey, as witnessed by the Elks Project, Ridge Road, and other projects, even though he takes credit as a tree city. Mr. Heisey also wants to delete Huron Valley Ambulance Service, which is free to Plymouth Township and which is used by Plymouth City and shortly Northville City. Also now known is that Mr. Heisey was clearly instrumental in the Salem Springs sewage debacle that we probably will be sued for, an issue that has rightfully disturbed Plymouth Township. Other things we have learned include Mr. Heisey wanting to build a new fire station with a potential $8 million cost. Mr. Heisey wanting to build a new voting center. Mr. Heisey wanting new water meters of outdated design that will cost millions but give no benefit to residents. Sparks area residents now know a developer will continue to be allowed to keep coming back with objectionable developments to their closely knit community. Now, what Mr. Heisey has not learned is that residents are feeling the burden of increased taxes, food costs, other inflation, and personal debt, and that his goals and objectives are making all of us into beasts of burden. Mr. Heisey, this is not the time to add new cost onto your residents. Stop getting us into lawsuits and trying to get your name on a new building. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Heisey, we got your number. We know why you canceled your coffee hour at the Friendship Station. You canceled it because people were coming there to call out your lies. You lie on social media continuously, you stalk us, and you slander our names and try to destroy our families, and we're fed up with it. I'd like to know who this cameraman was. It says, the last time the squad was at the senior center, left to right, Zantop, fake camera guy who's still under criminal investigation, Dan Callahan running for trustee, and Bill Pine. These are all veterans that you're trashing. Wonder who the fake guy cameraman gets his orders from. I have no idea who this man was. Turns out he was at that meeting and he handed me a card. I didn't like to talk to the guy. I walked away. You had somebody there taking pictures to trash us. And we don't appreciate it.
Good evening, trustees and Mr. Supervisor.
Good evening.
We've been initiating our campaign season. My name is Howard Hamrick, 10306 Normandy Drive, Plymouth Township resident for about 40 years. Many of you I've known for years, and in the past voted for you, actually. Thought you were bringing some fresh air to the township. Having said that, I've got a few comments I would like to make for the public more than to you. The Stop the Racetrack movement is a Plymouth Township resident initiative. Plymouth Township voter initiative. It was started to protect our community, its home values and character. We banded together to become informed of the planned Northville Downs development and the process that was occurring from day one at the Planning Commission level. After hours of research by many members of this particular group, we soon realized the many deficiencies in the process, the shortcomings of this development, and have pushed to block it at every single opportunity we have. We have never had an agenda other than to protect our entire community from the plan to depreciate it with this development, both financially, which we now realize, and culturally. I suggest my fellow movement members take exception to and are insulted by some of the plan that have been promoted in an attempt for a re-election process, dismissing, distorting our motives for political gain. I suggest those who question our motives stand on the records in office. I mean the entire record. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Voters are entitled to the whole truth to make an intelligent decision this August, not disinformation and propaganda. Thank you for your attention.
Hi, guys. Bill Pine, 46-year township resident. I'm here today to talk about public safety and alt-right. Recently, I started to see a bunch of Kurt's giant political postcards labeling everyone who's unhappy with his performance alt-right. So I figured I should probably see what that meant. A couple of weeks ago, I talked to a nice 30-something-year-old Michigan State police trooper in Brighton what alt-right meant. He laughed, and he said it was a slimy political term used by some politicians against their opponents and sometimes the police. I thought, slimy politics, and sort of mentally shrugged. But then he said, but. And the but is why I'm here tonight. His but was that the actual definition of alt-right is young, white males who are nationalistic neo-Nazis who are opposed to multiculturalism, feminism, racial equality, and Islam. And that gave me serious pause. I did an inventory of everyone I could think of, and the only boxes I could check were young and or white and or male. Nobody I know is alt-right, including all of you guys and me. So what? If you've been paying attention to the news in the last month, you know that 25 miles east of here in East Dearborn and 25 miles west of here in Ann Arbor, there are people saying death to America. The Death to America people in Washington, D.C. are actually threatening decapitation of the enemies of these extremists. My Michigan State police acquaintance has been posted in Ann Arbor, along with folks from a number of other law enforcement agencies, surveilling the Death to America folks to forestall any possible extremist actions. Kurt, you've officially put a bullseye on Plymouth Township with your alt-right stuff as enemies of these extremists. All it takes is for one Death to America extremist to be aware of this and elude the surveillance, and you could have tragic consequences in Plymouth Township. Indiscriminately spewing around reference to alt-right isn't just dumb and irresponsible, it's actually potentially extremely dangerous. So what to do? I suggest that you no longer promote alt-right in Plymouth Township. I would suggest you find a different but safe, slimy political term to address all the people in Plymouth Township who are unhappy with your performance. In conclusion, Kurt, you and your minions shouldn't do dangerous things that potentially put all of Plymouth Township's residents at risk. A good analogy for not saying dangerous things is that there's a reason folks aren't allowed to shout fire in a crowded theater. In that vein, Kurt, you and your minions need to stop shouting alt-right near Death to America extremist demonstrations. Please show some regard for the safety of Plymouth Township. Okay, thank you very much.
My name is Diane Belowis. And just when I thought you couldn't stoop any lower, Mr. Heisey, you proved me wrong. When the Coffee and Conversation was canceled on April 19th, it stated in the Plymouth Voice that the Plymouth Council on Aging canceled it because there was a scheduled political disruption. They were instructed by you, Kurt, to cancel. You stated in the article that you felt they needed to dial down their mean-spirited messaging and think about the harm they're doing to our seniors. Perhaps it's you, Kurt, that needs to dial down on lies and backroom deals. You always seem to twist things around to make yourself look like a victim. This cancellation was strictly yourself, to make yourself look like a victim. It's an effort to suppress free speech by the senior citizens of Plymouth Township. You're a career politician lacking a moral compass. Many seniors in this community take real offense at being labeled alt-right activists by you. We are simply citizens that want the best for this community, and you, by canceling this meeting, we were unable to voice our concerns about what's happening in this township. I will admit that some seniors lack a compass when speaking, and I think that's what you were afraid of. A truly honest and caring supervisor will look forward to questions and concerns of citizens. Why is everything cloaked in secrecy with you, Kurt? Do you have an answer for that? The next thing I wanted to talk about was this ridiculous flyer that came in my mail. It's disgusting. If you paid attention at board meetings, you already know from several comments that this list wasn't intended to be turned over to the board and legally didn't have to be. So this flyer is an outright lie. This is a small community, not Lansing or Washington. You're displaying dirty, underhanded politics that have no place in our community. You have absolutely no moral compass and should be ashamed of yourself. I hope your parents taught you better values than you have been displaying. Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Hearing nothing else, we're going to move on to new business. Okay.
If
Hurry
you,
up.
can I say your name and write it down?
I'm sorry.
Your name and write it down so we have it for the
Hi, my
record.
name is Renee Zantop. Hi, I've been my family has been residents of Plymouth Township since I was 5 years old. So, and I'm local to the area. I live in Northville now, but preparing to move back to Plymouth. And I'm just here also to echo many of the concerns that have been stated tonight, Mr. Heisey, and also to maybe just express how some of your actions are affecting home life when you call senior citizens alt-right. My father, Dwayne Zantop, is almost 80 years old, and he's done many, many positive things for the community and for employed many people over the years and been very supportive in this community. And he's an upstanding citizen, and for the many pages of slander and disrespect, it's just appalling, and it has a negative effect on all of us. And it's very concerning to me that our township supervisor treats his citizens this way. So I echo all of the statements this evening, and also, again, how it personally affects our family at home in the township.
My name's Alex Wassel. I've been a resident since 1999. I just have a few questions I'd like to ask. It doesn't have to be answered now, but I think maybe it would be helpful at some time that the answers come forthwith. Now, elections are very important. Well, you guys all run for, ladies run for elections. It's the bedrock of our society. In the upcoming election, I have a question. Does Plymouth Township verify the citizenship status of the voters, or those people that participate in the election? If yes, how? If no, why not? Number 2, will all the polling areas and drop boxes be under video surveillance? This is not saying that cheating or anything bad will go on, but do we have the ability to check how our elections are conducted in a video manner? 3, for the Salem wastewater sewage treatment plant status and sewer, what's the current status? Or is there a lawsuit? Are we under negotiations, or we just don't know? I think that's sort of important because it seems like a lot of people are talking about it. And the least important thing, but I'd like to know, there's a sprinkler irrigation cross-contamination program going on. And I guess there are some fines associated with that. I want to know, what's the enforcement authority? Where do we get, who makes the decisions on that issue? Okay? And that's it. I want to thank everybody for listening to me.
Sure. Alex, if you could send me, come here.
Oh.
Take my card. Come over this way. Take my card. Email me tomorrow about the sprinkler inspection thing, because we can give you a very detailed answer on that.
Okay.
From our DPW.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
I'd like to be CC'd on that because I'm getting questions.
Well, we all are. Okay.
Been copied on it before, Chuck.
I know, but I mean, for this question.
All right.
He said he's going to provide
I'll send it to
a
everybody.
detailed response.
I'll send it to
It's
everybody.
been sent out many times.
I
Falmouth
know.
has sent it out many
I
times.
just want to know what the response is here. That's all. It's that simple.
Okay, all righty. So, Environmental Leadership Commission, are you guys ready for item K1? So this is Mary Ann McLaren. She is the chairwoman of our Environmental Leadership Commission, and she is going to give us an update on the recent activities of the Environmental Commission over the last year. Now, you may see on the agenda, following that, we are going to have the hopeful approval of the intergovernmental agreement with Wayne County for improvements to Gulfview Park, which is the triangular public space at Beck and Ann Arbor Trail. So a lot of the stuff that Mary Ann's going to be talking about does pertain to that intergovernmental agreement. So I didn't want to steal a lot of I would have stolen a lot of your thunder otherwise, so now you can steal mine. So.
Okay, we'll see what's happening.
Is her mic working?
I believe so. I can
Just bring it a little bit closer to you.
bring it closer and talk louder.
Yes.
Yeah, I
That'll
wasn't
work.
going to say the louder part, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Anyway, as Supervisor Hasey has stated, I am Mary Ann McLaren, and I am Chair of the Environmental Leadership Commission. And good evening, members of the Board of Trustees. Thank you for having me here, and I appreciate all the hard work all of you do in trying to keep this community together. All right, the next slide, please, Bob. So let you know that the role of the Environmental Leadership Commission for the Plymouth community are several responsibilities that we have. One of them is educating the residents, businesses, and guests regarding environmental stewardship and awareness, environmental policies, sustainability, and best practices. We partner with individuals, government agencies, businesses, and allied environmental organizations to promote community participation in local environmental protection, awareness, education, and enhancement projects and initiatives. We serve as a source for information to answer questions from residents of the township and others about environmental protection issues and policies. The next slide, please. And this, as you can see here, are some of the organizations and agencies that we collaborated with last year and continue relationships with today. And next slide, please. And this is the list of the members of the commission. There are 9 of us. We're all Plymouth Township residents. The year shows when our term expires. It's a rotating, like the other commissions in the township, where we serve for 3 years. And next slide, please. One of the things we're doing is providing education to the community. One of our members presented at the Michigan International Technology Center meeting explaining the township's new solar ordinance. We also created sustainability tip brochure, which also some of that is at the back of the room if you would like one, small enough to fit on the refrigerators, and just some of the tips of what you can do to cut down on waste and protect the environment. We are helping to meet the Arbor Day requirements and the Tree City obligations. We also was in attendance with literature at the Overture for Earth, which was performed by the Michigan Philharmonic last April during the whole Earth Day week. We also had an outreach at the Penn Theater on Earth Day. Next slide, please. We have education at our monthly meetings. The public is more than welcome to come and hear what we are learning. We have had GFL do a presentation on recycling and what the current market trends are for recycled goods. Canton Township Supervisor spoke to us with information regarding the food composting trial that they have in their community. We had Green Power Partners designation. They did a presentation through the EPA, and that has to do with more sustainable electricity. Information from the My Green Michigan and Michigan Consulting and Environment, and this has to do with some of the waste composting or food composting. And Hefty Renewal was a presentation by one of our commission members. And if you look at that, Hefty has a couple things on how to recycle plastics and that. Okay, and the next article is, we did our 3rd October Fall Colors event. It is organized and managed by the ELC. Bosch is our sponsor to help with funding. We had an estimated 150 plus guests attend last year. The weather was cold and windy, which resulted in low attendance, lower than the other previous 2 years. The park, there was hardly even anybody anywhere in the park. It was unusually cold and windy. But we had 12 exhibitors, and we had giveaways that included glass water bottles with our ELC logo and reusable canvas bags. Next slide, please. Okay, Tree City USA. As you can see from the sign, we have had that designation for 2 years last year. That the Arbor Day Foundation launched the Tree City USA in 1976. It's a program which now includes more than 3,600 communities around the country. The commission assisted with taking the 2-year banners and putting them on the, I believe there's like 14 signs scattered around the community, and we put those stickers up to let everybody know we're now 2 years. We still have to catch up with the city of Plymouth. Also, DTE had a grant offering for tree planting, and the ELC assisted in writing that grant, and a couple of us also worked with the planning department on selecting the planting locations. So there was a total of 20 trees last year that was planted at the Lake Point Soccer Park, places where we needed more shade. Next slide, please. We are working on improving our environment in community parks. We partnership with David Hammond, who is the founder of a nonprofit called Creating Habitats for Pollinators. And he does a lot of native flower seed planting. So last year, the Triangle Park, it's the one that is at Ann Arbor Trail and Ann Arbor Road, Fire Station 2, and Brentwood Park received the seedlings, and it did quite come to nice bloom by the end of the season. We also, as you'll see the photo on the two bottom photographs there, maintenance of the native plants that were planted along the parking lot, between the parking lot and Haggerty Drive, in the Lake Point Soccer Point. And I believe this is our second, these are 2 years old as of last year, so they've done very well. We also assist with the maintenance of the rain garden that's in the township park. We had 2 cleanup days, one in May and one in October. Next slide, please. Improving our environment and community parks in the future. Wayne County Parks, Phoenix and Wilcox Lakes Habitat Restoration Project is now going on. We have attended their meetings and will continue to support them as needed. We also, some of the members of the commission, walked the former Elks property with a member of the Planning Commission who had the list of all the heritage designated trees that were to stay, to ensure that they were staying and that they were fenced for protection according to what the agreement had been between the developer and the township. We also presented short and long-term ideas for the Triangle Park, also known as Gulfview Park, at Ann Arbor Trail in Beck, and came up with ideas for enhancements for the community, and that was presented to Supervisor Heisey. And next, please. Our services that we do, we have created an ELC logo. It was approved and implemented, and that was at the first slide in our presentation. Supervisor Heisey attends our meetings and keeps us updated and offers feedback. We contributed to updating the 5-year Parks and Recreation Plan. We were involved with the solar ordinances. In fact, the development in writing was done by the ELC, and it was approved by the Planning Commission and then the Board of Trustees to become an ordinance. We also assisted with providing information about EV chargers into the stations, and right now there are 2 stations that are operating at the Township Hall. And next, please, Bob. Opportunities for greater collaboration and awareness. There was an article about Environmental Leadership Commission in the October issue of The Rock. It was quite extensive and informative. We attend either live attendance or video watch the Planning Commission and the Board of Trustee meetings as a way for us to increase collaboration and know what is on the agenda for items for the community. We continue to support the township on the Michigan Green Communities Challenge. We are right now a silver designation, so the goal for this year is to become a gold designation. And the next slide, please. Our goals for 2024 and beyond. We will be joining with Dave Harmon, creating habitats for pollinators, in planting native seeds. It will be in the Triangle Park, Gulfview Park, and there will also be some at Lake Point Soccer Park. We connect with HOAs on key issues at annual meetings. We engage with sustainability issues and experts to broaden the township's knowledge base. We collaborate with the Board of Trustees and the Planning Commission on relevant topics. We sustain the rain garden located in Township Park. We join with stakeholders of Miller Woods to remove invasive plants and to plant native species. Thank you very much. Is there any questions from the board?
Any questions for Mary Ann?
Yes.
Yes.
Annual Fall Colors event, you're spending $5,000 from Wash, is that correct?
Close to that, yes.
Is there some way that we can redirect that to have more of a lasting legacy of that money versus the 2-hour program?
I believe there's a different direction for whatever grant that Bosch has given already. And Sarah is going to be the one that has
Yeah.
that detail.
So to help answer that question, I mean,
Yes.
first of all, Bosch, it's their money, so they decide where they want to spend it, whether that's for a public event or educational event or for something more long-term. In this case, if you go, I am jumping ahead to the next agenda item,
Sure.
but we have been approved this year for a $5,500 grant from Bosch to assist in the funding of the rain garden and bioswale project at Triangle Park, AKA Gulfview Park. And that is part of our, that will be matched with the grant money that we're getting from the county. So,
Yes.
so to answer that question, yeah,
So
again,
you
it's,
are redirecting it.
well, it's not, they're not redirecting it.
We're not.
Bosch,
So how much do you, are you gonna have fall colors this year?
Probably.
So how are you gonna get $5,000 to do it if we use it for this, for the Gulfview Park?
There's other businesses in the township.
Okay, well, that's your plan. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's your
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah,
is
there's
to
other
solicit
businesses, so we can
businesses.
see
All right.
what we can do.
All right, I have another question about, when you came up here a couple of weeks ago, you talked about landscape ordinance,
Yes?
and it is in the, on the June 5th, work
Study
session
studies,
for the
yes.
planning commission.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well,
Because you
some-
indicated that it would be for existing and for new builds.
Well, what the study group is for is, we've been requested by the planning commission to be in attendance, and it's to work with issues that are sustainability. So landscaping could be one of those. Some of the landscaping ordinances are in need of updating. But it's not something where we're going to tell people what to put in their yard, as a certain person put out on Facebook.
And so it's a new build,
So,
so it's a new
no.
build.
No.
Please
No.
don't attack me. It's a
I'm
new
not
build-
attacking, I'm just
New
saying.
build focus.
No. It
No?
could be. I do not know.
All right.
It is a work study. It is gaining knowledge and information. The direction it goes in will be decided from that information and knowledge.
You're getting the information, you're not giving it to the planning commission.
We will give what we have, yes.
All right. I'm not talking about Facebook or anything like that. I'm
No.
talking about when you were here 2 weeks
No,
ago.
right.
Or whenever,
A
2
month
meetings
ago.
ago, a month ago.
It was at least a
You
month ago.
indicated that you brought it up. I didn't bring it up, so it was your.
Well, that was
so
part-
that was that's what piqued my interest.
Yeah, that was part of that's included in with sustainability.
All right, okay, that's what I wanted to understand.
Yeah.
If people want to attend your meetings, where are they held?
They're held right here on the fourth Saturday of every month, fourth Monday, except this Monday, it's the 20th, because it's Memorial Day at 7 o'clock. It's posted on the website, just like all the other commission meetings are posted, along with our agenda and minutes.
Thank you.
It is all for public information from the website. Yes.
okay, any other questions for Mary Ann? Excellent, well, thank you so
Okay,
much. I
thank
think
you.
Anita Yeager is here tonight too. Anita, if you could stand up, she's another member of the Environmental Commission. So thanks to all of you, you're all volunteers, you're not getting paid, we
No.
appreciate it. All right, so Mary Ann, I am going to mention some of the things in the next agenda item that were direct recommendations of your commission. So this is we're going to move on to item K2. This is the intergovernmental agreement with Wayne County. Every year we get an allocation of money from Wayne County Parks. It's basically our money that we have already paid for through our taxes to the Wayne County, through the Wayne County Parks millage, and they give back a little bit of it to us for local projects. So this year's allocation was about $73,000. So my recommendation is that we do various improvements to the Gulfview Park, AKA Triangle Park, the park that's at the corner of Beck and Ann Arbor Trail, and we're already seeing some terrific improvements out there. So just to run through these very quickly, I don't want to read everything to you, but we've already, through our golf course maintenance team, we have already removed a great deal of dead and scrub trees and brush. And we're still working on a couple of the some of the concrete debris, but I think the large rock is probably going to stay there but there is still some old construction debris from the past that's in the forested area. Signage and amenities, the Historic District Commission has also been involved in this project, and they are going to install a historic marker at the park. This is not a state of Michigan marker like we have out here. This is more of a informational historic marker, similar to what is at the old Daisy factory in the city of Plymouth.
What will it say? What is the historic significance?
Talks about original farmers and settlers in the area, and I think some of the Native American contributions to the area, like Ann Arbor Trail, North Territorial, are old. A lot of these are old Native American pathways. As far as an entryway and obelisk sign, that's still a goal. This is a 2-year grant, so we are trying to reuse the. You may recall right up here at Ann Arbor Road and Haggerty, we have those two, I call them obelisks, and one is still here in front of CVS. The other one was removed as part of the Henry Ford Hospital project. So that obelisk, that tower, is still in storage at our DPW.
This is the thing that has like a canopy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was put in place with the streetscape.
Yes.
DDA.
It was part of the DDA project from the early 2010s. So that's a possibility that we may want to install that there, but that's still kind of a work in progress. The Environmental Commission is working with some of their allied groups on environmental awareness signs. And then as far as other environmental enhancements, some of the things that were recommended by the Environmental Commission included installation of bird and bat houses, butterfly gardens, and of course the rain garden and bioswale. That money will be matched now with the money that we expect to get from Bosch. And then we're also going to continue to install trees, bushes, and native grasses in relative areas of the park. So again, this IGA with the county is virtually identical to the ones that we've done in the past. Jeremy Schroeder, our engineer, has been the lead guy on this, and we recommend approval tonight. We send this back to the county, and then this has to be approved by the Wayne County Commission. And Terry Marecki, our Wayne County Commissioner, has been a big help, as well as Melissa Daub, our other county commissioner, who represents sort of this southeast portion of Plymouth Township. So we have 2 county commissioners now, and they've both been very helpful in helping us get this IGA. We want to thank them. So again, I recommend approval, and if there's any questions, I'll be happy to entertain them. If not, if I don't know, then Jeremy can help out.
Will you put some on the screen there so that we can see where you're doing these, Jeremy, please? Some drawings or whatever you're using.
If you want
to point to where some of these things are and what you're doing.
Sure.
We didn't have a lot, the board, as far as I know, wasn't asked to have input. So I just want to see what you're doing.
If you go to page 174 of the packet, that's got a image on it.
So you can point to where you're doing some of these things on there?
Yeah, this is just a continuation on the work that we've already been working through on the previous ARPA dollars that we spent in Gulfview Park to build those sidewalks. So this is a map showing what we're doing. On the bottom left corner is the entryway obelisk sign that we talked about.
You have a pointer that you help us there?
Yep, right there.
Okay.
Yep.
What's that?
Entryway obelisk sign. So we've got kind of somewhat leveled out area there. That's something that we planned on doing in the future. At this point, we just need to build a foundation and, get somebody to erect it. The red area in the woods, we cleaned up a portion of that as a part of the Gulfview sidewalk project. There was quite a bit more left in there of debris, down trees, et cetera. So that's what this money's going to help clean up the remainder of that. And then it's going to build a kind of nature type pathway, which is the green line that's shown around it. The other sign that
paved or unpaved?
Unpaved. Yeah, I believe we're just going to do it in, mulch. And then the other historical type sign is up by the golf course on the north side of Powell, which is up top right of the screen.
So that sign, what is the sign you'll be intending there?
That's the historic reference sign.
Yep.
Near the road, or?
It's actually down, Jeremy, it's, you see that house right in the smack in the middle of Ann Arbor Trail? Go right there. It's directly, it would be directly across the street in that triangular area. That small triangle area is now being converted over to a butterfly garden, and the sign will be in that vicinity.
Yeah, my Kiwanis Club planted that 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So show me where the trees, the red is where the $33,000 for tree cleaning?
Roughly, yeah. I mean, this is again an aerial that we marked up with a polygon, but there's a whole section in there of broken concrete and downed trees in that area. We removed a portion of it as a part of the previous project, and then they've continued working on it from there. So trying to get as much as we can get done for the money, so it's probably
The whole wooded area, no, Jeremy, the whole wooded area there has been cleaned, has been thoroughly cleaned out with invasive species, vines, dead trees, and branches. I know Mary Ann and the ELC have been talking about maybe getting some suitable ground cover there to stop the more invasive stuff from coming up in the future. But that whole forest reclamation there has all been throughout that whole polygon, not well beyond the green and
the red is really where the concrete was.
that's where the concrete and the rocks and a lot of the really heavy debris. Well, people have been, the township and the golf course previously have been dumping stuff there for years.
So how do you balance in the treat area? If you make it totally clean, like a front yard, it kind of knocks the wildlife away. So what are you doing to balance that so that we don't have a perfectly clean understory?
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Because I know everybody likes everything to be clean like their front yard, but maybe here it might not be a good idea.
Nature will reclaim things, so.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the environmental leadership, has been involved in this project and other projects around, so we're
So
taking
how much cleaning are you intending to do? Are you going to churn up the earth? Or are you going to just take away brush?
Yeah, it's mainly taking away brush, picking up old concrete. And
a lot of dead wood and dead trees and vines and invasive species. It was quite bad.
So people could play and walk in there is what you're trying to do?
Correct, yeah. Ideally, if they want to explore and walk around the woods, they're not tripping over, concrete, rebar, dead trees, et cetera. The idea is to make it a little bit more walkable, a little more inviting.
Okay, any other questions for anybody?
Mr. Supervisor.
Mr. Clerk.
I move to approve Resolution 2024-05-14-25, authorizing the supervisor and clerk to sign the intergovernmental agreement with Wayne County for improvement to the Gulfview Park as indicated in the attached resolution.
Okay, motion's made by Clerk Vorba. Is there a second? Second by Treasurer Dorshevitz. Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Clerk Vorba, yes. Trustee Kermy.
Yes.
Trustee Buckley.
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
Treasurer Dorshevitz.
Yes.
Trustee Monahan.
Yes.
Supervisor Heisey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Very good. We're back to public comment. Item L. Get the clock up there.
Good evening again, Howard Hamrick, 10306 Harmony Drive.
Hold on.
I didn't come here to speak to this.
Hold on.
You want to put the clock on? I'll be done before you
You've
even
got to
get
get
near
the
the end
clock
of that.
running.
Got to get the shot.
I didn't come here to speak about this park improvement. I can understand the rationale, but I also cannot understand how we're supposed to enjoy this wonderful development, ecologically sound, when we're stuck with a traffic pattern. There's nowhere to park. You got a golf course next door. So would you suggest I park in the subdivision across the street from Ann Arbor Trail, walk across Ann Arbor Trail and enter the park area and then make a circumventual route around it? Or shall I come down Powell Road in hopes of making a right-hand turn and then approaching this park? I don't have a problem with a park, but I thought parks were supposed to be somewhat amenable to access by the residents and the homeowners in the region. So I know you did the vote, so it's anticlimactic, but it's an interesting conundrum, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Jeremy, are we allowed to park on the south side of Powell? Or is that no parking posted?
Yeah, that's no parking posted. I mean, there's no parking on the south side. I think what you would do is park at Township Park. We did provide sidewalks recently as a part of our sidewalk program that connect that park and really connects all the way to downtown Plymouth.
So it's posted, I thought you could park there. Huh? Yeah. I parked there the other day when we planted the garden, but you didn't notice the sign.
My time? Oh,
Yeah, go.
Go. Oh, my gosh.
Already started.
I noticed a lot of trees, and the residents were overwhelmingly against getting fined for cutting down trees in their yard. But I've been noticing a lot of trees being cut down in the township by developers. I'm wondering if there's any record of this, or how are they responding to that? Are we giving us money back, or donating trees, or how does that work? I'm just curious. And my other thing is, I made an observation. After the meeting, three people on this board walk out the front door. The rest of you walk out the back door. And to me, you don't want to answer people's questions. You don't want to talk to us. But that's just my observation. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? All righty. Okay. Okay, somebody lost their glasses there. Okay, board comment. I'm not going to call on everybody tonight. If you want to say something, raise your hand and I'll call on you. Otherwise, forever hold your peace.
Yeah,
Trustee Buckley, go ahead.
I'll start. This Saturday, if you guys haven't heard, is Armed Forces Day. Our Veterans Commission has put together over the last couple of weeks a community building event to honor both National Police Week and EMS Week, as well as our armed forces, in a bit of a challenging and uplifting patriotic event. It's called a Ruck March. And what a ruck is a weighted backpack that you can wear. We have a 5K loop that we will be doing. It's very meaningful. It will start at the VFW and proceed towards the First Responders Memorial, where we will pause for a moment of silence, turn around, grab some water, and head back. It's not a race. It is a bit of a challenge. It's a family event. But considering the climate of the world, okay, there's a lot of negativity. This is something positive that our community can come together to do. And I just really encourage you all to come out, even if it's just to cheer us on and be just a smiling face for those that serve and sacrifice for our local area, keep us safe. And then on the national stage as well, because we've lost, I believe, 58 police officers this year. And that's a big deal. And we need to rally around them and support them, as well as our service members. You never know when they're going to be deployed into action. And then to honor the past service members, our veterans, and to thank them. My husband and I, my children, and a couple of people tested this out last year. And it was just very beautiful to walk through the city and to wave our flags. My husband had a huge, well, not that big, but the one from our house on his rucksack. He's a former Marine and a police officer with Royal Oak. So it just meant a lot to us, all the honks and the cheers from people. So if you're not doing anything on Saturday at 8 a.m., please join us at the VFW. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
What are we doing for the weight in the rucksack? Do you have weights or rocks, or what are we doing? Bring our own?
Well, it's your discretion, but usually those that are novice will start at 1/6 of their body weight or ideal body weight. So that's what I recommend. I myself will have 30 pounds. And my husband, I think, has 45. The standard for soldiers is something like 75. So the weight is in solidarity to what soldiers go through, what they train to get in shape for war. And so it's meant to be a challenge. And so just do as much as you can handle, but the only thing that's required is patriotism.
Sounds good. Thank you for helping to organize that. That's terrific. I think we have some flyers at the back of the room,
yes,
too. So.
And then there's flyers back there as well.
Yeah, anybody else at this, if you're all set, anybody else?
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know that I was attended a large wedding from OLGC the other day, and I had several people come up to me, and it's sort of funny in a casual setting like that, that people come up to you and just rave about this dog park and the leash ordinance. So I just want you to know there are people out there that do appreciate that.
It's not a dog
No.
park.
Well,
I mean,
I call it.
It's dogs in the park. So.
Okay, it's dogs in the park. Sorry.
And cats.
And if you guys can just pray for my daughter, she's going to have her third baby tonight, and
Oh, wow.
so just on baby watch.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, any other trustees wish to speak, or the
Thank you.
clerk, or the treasurer?
I'm good.
John?
I want to thank each of the individual citizens for your participation. There isn't anything you can't figure out. You'll have to dig. Nothing is ever what it seems to be on the surface. I say that as a lawyer of 45 years practicing who goes into the courts in Wayne County. So I want to thank you again, and I want to stay true to my pledge to be as kind and as helpful to each citizen. This Tuesday, we have statewide recognition that's positive. Actually, it dovetails from yesterday. I was glad to represent Plymouth Township at the ribbon cutting. Pasture Homes developed the Northville Downs property. The consultant said they sat down with over 200 residents to put the plan together. My wife and I, our longtime friend, the key lady was Nancy Darga. There's a river there now. There's no concrete for a parking lot there now. Northville Downs will be completely demolished within a month. And you probably know there's going to be 443 units, but I won't talk about that. You can hear more about that on Tuesday noon because there's a statewide economic outlook summit in Plymouth Township. It's at Phoenix Mill. There are 3 speakers who I'm going to limit Presbyterian style, 14 minutes, and then Q&A. The first one is George Lahannis, Northville City Manager. We'll answer all questions about Northville Downs. Number 2, macro picture, economics. I did major in economics. Is Jim Holcomb, Executive Director of the Michigan Chamber of Commerce. And he and I sat in a caucus room together for 6 years in Lansing. And then finally, the mayor of Holland, Michigan, where there's very positive, incredible participation on the part of the citizens with any economic development and their planning commission. Their meetings start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The planning commission's for the city of Holland. So my 58-year-old lawyer friend, who happens to be mayor of Holland, Michigan, Nathan Box, will be at the Phoenix Mill, and I expect it to be a lot of good networking to find out what's going on, and I'm inviting you. So thank you very much again for coming out tonight.
All right, anybody else on the board? Yeah. All set? Okay, so just a couple quick things. Oops, let me turn my mic on. We are meeting again on May 28th. That meeting will be, I know that's the day after Memorial Day, but we got a lot of stuff to take care of. So that meeting tentatively right now would be, we have a water main replacement bid. We have to do some bylaw changes to the 35th District Court Authority. This is a better way of distributing the costs of the court administration, and I think it does put more of the burden where it belongs on Canton, because we are no longer generate revenue from the court. We now have to put money into the court to keep it afloat.
Will there be a court representative here, or
No.
not required?
No, I mean, Bob and I will handle it, so. The Vic Tanny consent agreement, we still don't know what the status of that is. Kevin, do you have anything new on that? We have not heard from anyone from anywhere. I'm looking to do, I'd like to do the new fire station approval and the new fire station intent to bond on that night as well. June 11th is our annual audit presentation. The audit's going along very well right now. As is as has been our tradition now for the last 8 years, our audits are done on or before Memorial Day, or at least June 1st. So we're once again on track for doing that. With respect to the sewer status, the Salem sewer status, again, I would direct you to my April 8th response letter to the Eagle on that. I have not received any feedback at all from Eagle since the public hearing was held on that matter. I did encourage, however, Showstack's engineers to talk to Watua's engineers, which is the regional Plymouth, Northville, Canton sewer system. And I think what we have to do is trust the science and the data and make sure that before we start making any decisions, let's make sure that the data works, that the Watua system can even handle any increased flow from another entity. We still don't know exactly what they plan to build in the Salem Township Urban Services District. And then finally, on Northfield Downs, I sent you all earlier this week a copy of our answer to the complaint, and just also some information that was passed along from the Michigan Horsemen's Association, whereby they Northfield Downs acknowledges that they have signed an agreement, apparently, with Fowlerville Fairgrounds to relocate their operations there for the summer. And I believe they're also now working on an agreement with the local township, in whatever township Fowlerville is in. They are working on an agreement with Fowlerville Township. So will be interesting to see what they agree to with them.
That's a temporary move or a permanent?
It's one of the many sites that they looked at before they selected Plymouth Township the second time. But they are they have to run races, and they can set that up with durable tents and other buildings, and it's not a heavy lift for them. Obviously the Ridge 5 property at 5 Mile and Ridge is for sale. It's being marketed by Colliers International, and I have been in touch with their realtor as well to help assist in any way that we can to get that land moving. With NEL Hydrogen coming in, which is a $400 million investment, and the anticipated spin-offs that we hope to get from the hydrogen industry, I think that's still a very attractive site. So in addition to the answer that the attorneys filed, we will also now be moving for a dismissal of the lawsuit because one of the many factors, in addition to the thin legal theory behind it, we have now been it is apparent that they signed an agreement with Fowlerville 12 days before they filed the lawsuit with us. So again, the good faith of the other side has been certainly strained. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Vorva. Is there a second by Trustee Monahan? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.